Dad, what are you doing?
Let's see if this works. Well, that didn't fix it. Hey folks, so it's another day. I went inside, I pulled a wiring diagram. Now I don't have all data or Mitchell on demand or anything like that, so I just had to kind of take the internet for its worth and looked at a wiring diagram. I traced everything to the starter relay where I wasn't sure if, you know, it was any good, but I have two other Echoes sitting here, so I just robbed one out of that Echo and swapped them, and still no start. And I know obviously those two are good, so that led me to the starter, and I did the old trick of putting an extension, long extension, and tapping on that with a hammer onto the starter solenoid, and voila, it started up. So now this video is going to be turning into a starter replacement video, so here we go. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is get a lot of this stuff out of the way. Obviously we want to disconnect the battery anytime you mess with a starter, and the starter is way down here, and I have to be honest with you, the only time I've ever pulled a starter on one of these cars is when I was doing a clutch, and you got to take the starter off so you can get the bell housing off. So never actually just replaced the starter on these cars. I've had my car for 10 years and the starter's great and never had any issues. So this might be kind of a learning experience for me too, because like I said, the only time I've pulled a starter is when I'm doing a clutch. So let's get this ball rolling. I'm going to start pulling all of this stuff over here off and get it out of the way so we can get down to the bolts in the starter and make us some room. I might actually pull this little support member here for the radiator off. That will allow me to lay the radiator forward more, which will give me more room in there for the starter. So I'm just gonna probably put this on a time lapse and let's get to work before it gets insanely hot. So you see with the radiator here, you can see the starter down there, but watch this. See how much more room I have if I pull this radiator forward a little. So that's going to be the plan. I might actually take this hose off, and that will give me a lot more room to pull this forward. So we'll see what I decide. This is a great tool to have with all of these kind of hose clamps that they put on cars. I'll put the link in the description. I honestly don't know what it's called other than a clamp removal tool. Yeah, it looks like yeah, it's just a hose clamp removal tool. I just looked it up on Amazon. So but it's great. I actually got this when my brother passed away. It was in his stuff. And this one here, it has a locking mechanism. It's really kind of cool. So when you actually it grabs the clamp like that, and then this locking mechanism will hold the clamp for you, so you don't have to mess around with pliers trying to hold it and move the clamp. Then you can freely move the clamp off the hose. But this locking mechanism on his is worn out, so we're going to try to get a new one, but I am going to take this off. Probably lose a little bit of antifreeze here, but not too much. If you don't know, with antifreeze, animals love the taste of antifreeze, and I've always wondered why animals love the taste of antifreeze. So I actually put some on my tongue one time, and I see why they like it. It's really, really sweet. I don't recommend anybody doing that. However, I understand now why they do like it. So we're going to get that cleaned up here real quick, and then we'll get back to work on this thing. Alright folks, so I got the radiator pulled forward, and I made a mess right here, as you can see. So I'm going to clean that up with some brake clean, and then get to where I can get this starter. This is a manual transmission car, and there's a slave cylinder right here that's bolted right in front of the starter, and so it's a lot easier to pull this off. It has a rigid line, but then that rigid line goes up to a flex line, so you'll have a little bit of wiggle room there. But the bolt, one bolt is on the bottom for the starter, and then the other bolt's on the top. The bottom bolt goes in that direction toward the driver's side. The top bolt goes in on the top towards the passenger side. So kind of got to go different directions to get these bolts out. So anyway, I just capped this guy off here so it would stop dripping. I'm going to clean all this up, brake clean, and we'll get rolling here. Two 10 millimeter, sorry, there's two 12 millimeter bolts that hold the slave cylinder on. So just pop them off. It's really tight in here to show you guys, but let me get them loose. There's your two 12 millimeter bolts that hold the slave cylinder on. Here's the slave cylinder right here, and got a little bleeder port there, and then that top bolt is where the fluid comes in from the master cylinder. And so we're just going to pull those two bolts off. There will be a little tension on that. It'll try to push to the left as you're looking at this, but it's not that bad. So I'm going to pull those off. The clutch master cylinder is out of the way, or slave cylinder, and now I can get in here to where I can actually get into the starter a lot easier. There's a cover right here. That's your main lead coming from the battery, and then there's a basically like an actuator wire that tells the starter to kick in behind here. And I'm just being honest here, it's a mofo to get out. So it's got a little clip on the back side of it, right where you can't get to it. So hopefully I won't have to beep out too much stuff. Okay, so now you got the lead coming from the battery off. And we can see that post right there. And then the little plug is in behind that post, and like I said, it's a booger to get to and get off. It's funny, I don't mind doing the clutch job on these things. I just hate doing this plug. There we go. Okay, so I just figured out a trick. Use your hose pliers, your these fuel line pliers. You can actually get right around the plug, push the button in, and still pull it off. So learned something today, that's good. So okay, now we're actually ready, believe it or not, to pull the starter off. Here's the bolt right here. So it goes in through the bell housing side towards the passenger side from the driver's side, and it is right next to the clutch fork, right where we took that slave cylinder off. So that's why it's so much easier. If you get the slave cylinder out of the way, you can actually see this bolt, and it's a lot easier to take off when you can see it. So there's your oil filter right there, if you can see that, and then the starter bolt actually faces that oil filter. So that one on the top and this one on the bottom, and you're good to go. The starter will come out and we'll put the new one in. Alright, so there's the top bolts out. Okay folks, starter's out. It'll just fall out the bottom. Personally, I think it's easier to get it out the bottom, and these things are not very heavy, so it's not like an old Ford inline 6 300 starter where it'll break your nose if it hits you. So now we're just going to get the replacement starter and do everything in the reverse order. I'm not sure if this video helped, but I'm going to stop it right here. So basically everything just in the reverse order. Throw the starter, bolt it on, hook all the terminals up on the starter, then hang your slave cylinder, and then put all the accessories back on, you know, obviously this and all that. And if you disconnect that radiator hose, make sure you top the radiator off. And I'll be back in a few minutes and this car will be put back together. Alright folks, I got everything put back together. Actually, I see one thing that I forgot to tighten up, and that's this clamp. So starter's in, and what we're going to do now is just fire this thing up. Alright, so I tightened these clamps, so let's just see if this thing will fire up. Hopefully I've diagnosed this thing right, and we'll see. The old tap on the starter with a hammer trick hopefully told us what's actually wrong. And shit, that's not it. Alright folks, so let me tell you what was actually wrong with this car. I was so frustrated, I just stopped recording because mainly I didn't follow my gut. I didn't follow the signs, and everything pointed to the clutch switch. But what I wanted to say was, this is what was wrong with that car. And this is just a junk wiring harness that I have here that I pull plugs off of. I've cannibalized a lot of these cars, and I just keep all the parts. And so let me just show you what it was. So if you look right here, there's a 2-prong plug, and this is the same plug that went into that clutch switch. This isn't the actual plug, but this is one just like it. And there's 2 little tangs in here, and I doubt this camera is going to focus good enough. There's 2 little tangs in here that accept the male part of the switch. So here's the plug like I was showing you, and here's the switch. And I don't know if you'll be able to see down in there, but there's 2 male prongs there that go in to these female receivers. What had happened was one of these prongs somehow was damaged, and so sometimes it would make contact, other times it would not make contact. And so it was kind of intermittent, and so that's what was wrong, was this stinking plug. It wasn't the switch itself. I tested both switches and they passed. What it was that dang plug. And like I was saying, trust in your gut. Everything pointed to the clutch switch being bad, but I never ever would have thought in a million years that it would have been the female part inside that plug. So, lesson learned. Just wanted to let you guys know that the car's running perfect now. I fixed it, but I would have never ever guessed that one of those plugs would have been damaged. It was doing it before I worked on it, and so it must have been damaged prior to that, and somehow it kept working this whole time. I don't know. But replaced the plug, car's running perfect. She's been driving it for like 2 weeks now, no issues. So yeah, that's what was wrong with the car. So trust your gut. Don't start overthinking things, and just trust your gut. Anyway, keep fighting. Don't give up. Just like me, I don't give up. We figured out what was wrong with this thing eventually, and now everything's good. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Talk to y'all later. Take care of yourselves.